UKAD had lifted Conor Benn's provisional suspension for the failed drugs test last year. And of course, as we all know, that saw his fight with Chris Eubank Jr. cancelled. Ben spoke about it briefly.
I'm obviously free to fight. And Joe, it's just been the maddest year for me and the family, for my team, for my supporters, my loyal supporters. And yeah, it's just been a mad season. Biggest bit of adversity I hope I ever have to go through. I've just gone through so many emotions throughout all this, from angry to bitter to resentful to, anxious. It's been just a whirlwind of emotions, and it's been hard, man. It's been challenging, but the main thing is I'm clear to fight in the UK, and we're still working with UKAD. I hope to get this changed, as this can't happen to any other athletes. And for me, it's, if I've had to pay the price so that other athletes don't have to go through this, then so be it. Because this has cost me a ton of money. And I was willing to spend every last penny I had on proving my innocence. I was willing to spend every last cent on proving my innocence. And I've been vindicated now for the second time.
And I don't doubt, Conor, when he says that, Gareth, he would have spent his last cent trying to prove his innocence. So he's clear to fight in the UK, he says, but he needs to get his licence back from the British Boxing Board of Control. Is that as straightforward as it sounds?
Well, there's a couple of caveats here. I mean, it's good to hear him talking like that, by the way, with a sense of purpose, as opposed to throwing everything under the bus as he was for those 10 months. It's brilliant that he's had the hearing. It's brilliant this has come out. I think the key here, the caveat is that, and it's good to hear that he's working with UKAD. They have 21 days to appeal the decision, because remember, they're like the prosecution, UKAD. The tribunal, Sporting Resolution, sits as the judge, and his team are defending his situation of 2 counts of clomiphene having been found in his system last year under VADA testing. What I think UKAD, in their statement last week, after Conor Benn said he'd be the provisional suspension had been lifted, said that they've got 21 days to appeal it. Whether they will or not, we don't know. Yeah. Whether they've got the teeth for that, whether they believe his case, we'll find out in the next 3 weeks. I think he will go to the narrative arc now. Will come from Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, and Conor Benn, and they'll apply for the licence. So I reckon he'll fight someone like Kell Brook. In my view, next. I mean, I think it's still a decent fight for him. They'll apply for the licence, and we'll see the reaction of the Boxing Board of Control, and then it'll play out from there.
You think he'll fight sometime this year, though, in the UK?
Oh, yeah, I think absolutely. Yes, he's been out 15 months already. Well, I think he'll fight here because I think he'll apply for a UK licence. Yeah. It's going to be fascinating how the board react, Alex.
And what about the boxing public? How are they going to react? Is this always going to follow Conor Benn around?
Well, I think it always will, but so does with Tyson Fury in the boar meat. So it does with Canelo and the hair follicles and his positive test. Dillian Whyte and other boxers have all had moments when things have been found in their system and they've had to kind of stand up and face it. I think he has. I think he's turned a corner here. You can hear it in the way he's talking about things. He can see a way through this, rather than at the beginning, as I was just alluding to, saying, I'm innocent, I haven't got anything to prove. You have. If it's in your system, you've got to prove it. And the fact that UKAD is strict liability has meant that he's needed a case. There are a few shifts in the narrative over the last 10 months. Eddie Hearn saying it's all about jurisdiction in this case, which Adam Catchell and myself discussed on Saturday night. Whereas the team that you had in, Renee Carriol, his PR guru, and his doctors that you had in the studio, Jim, maybe a month and a half ago.
Yes, yeah.
Saying that they are claiming that it's the metabolites in the system that are consistent with food and not a chemical pill. So there's lots out there, and will he ever clear his name? Not in some people's minds, but listen, if he many of us have advocated, certainly those in boxing have said that you can't have a testing system and someone comes up with a positive test and they say, no, I'm innocent, it wasn't me, I didn't do it, and not go through the due process.
Yeah.
At least he's gone through that now, and he will clear his name, I believe.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.